Tamar. She was not a child of Abraham. She was a Canaanite woman, but marries one of Judah's sons, and the scripture describes him as a very sinful man who, because of his sin, dies early, leaving Tamar childless. Judah then gives her to his second son, Onan, as was the custom, to raise up heirs for his deceased brother. But Onan doesn't want to do this because he doesn't want to divide the family treasure, the family inheritance. So whenever he went in to have relations with his wife, he spilled his seed on the ground. And for this, and no doubt other things as well, a sense of selfishness, Onan too dies young, leaving Tamar again widowed. And Judah says, well, I want to give you in marriage to my third son, but he's too young. Go back to your father's house and wait. When the time is right, you can come and marry him. She puts on her widow's garbs and goes back home and waits. But when the third son is old enough, Judah does not give her to him in marriage. So now she's stuck in limbo. She's engaged, but can't get married. And she can't seek another suitor or marry into another family because she's already promised to the house of Judah. It's a maddening situation. She's a drain on her own father's house and her own family. And time is running out when she can have children of her own. A terrible situation. Then Judah's wife dies, and after a period of grief, he goes back to shepherding his flock, and Tamar comes up with a plan. She takes off her widow's garb. She puts on the garb of a temple harlot and goes out near the territory where Judah is shepherding his flock. She wears a veil to disguise her identity. He sees her, comes over, asks to have relations with her, and promises her a kid from his flock. She says, okay, but I need to hold on to something from you for security. So he gives her his signet ring, his staff, and his cord. They have relations, and she goes back home. When he sends one of his men to deliver the goat the next day, she is nowhere to be found. 3 months later, she appears to be pregnant. Judah is enraged. This brought disgrace upon our family. Let's burn this immoral woman. But she sends him over a little package, perhaps UPS. He opens it up and he sees his ring. He sees his staff. He sees his cord. And there's a note that says, the father of my child is the owner of these things. One of those very delicious moments in Scripture where the self-righteous, enraged saint is exposed for his own sin. He realizes it was all his fault. He said, this would never have happened if I had kept my word, if I had given my son to her in marriage. This is my fault. She gives birth to twins. And one of those very quaint and beautiful passages of the Scripture, the midwife is delivering the twins, and one of the babies sticks his hand out, and she wraps it with a red string so that she would know who the firstborn was. But then the other baby pops out whole. This very touching moment of giving birth to twins who were accepted fully in to the family of Judah was so important and becomes a part of the genealogy of Jesus. This woman did something that was objectively evil, having been driven there in desperation. But throughout Scriptures there's a saying that God writes straight with crooked lines. He brings something marvelous out of this situation. And this woman is counted amongst the ancestors of Jesus.